Hello, my name is Wiz. I'm a strategy advisor and mentor to people in the retail industry. I wanted to talk to you today about the 5 things that have made the biggest impact when I've been growing my business, WIZZ&CO. First of all, was building a brand. So I've worked in retail for over 20 years, and I've worked with thousands of brands over the years, from working at Selfridges as head of buying across multiple different categories. So I'm really passionate about brands and what makes people buy. I decided if I was teaching people how to build a brand, that I in fact also should practice what I preach. So I created a brand for myself. Being called Wiz was something I shied away from a bit at first, but actually I leaned in towards this from a lot of feedback from people who love my name. So I branded my business, WIZZ&CO. I created, I suppose, a tone of voice, imagery, kind of a color palette, branded design for this. For WIZZ&CO. I found it was really important to demonstrate a brand that stands out, that can kind of make waves in the industry. So I created my business as a brand was my first point. Secondly, I wanted to increase my visibility. The most powerful brands in the world today are often founder-led brands. Some of the largest brands had founders behind them when they started, and actually, even if they have grown or evolved and those founders have left, sometimes they've started to lose market share because people have forgotten about the mission and what they're about and that visionary that was behind the business. So I set about increasing my visibility. When I was working at Selfridges as head of buying, everybody knew who I was. That was amazing because of my job and my role. Once you leave a business, things can be very different. So I always had to start from the bottom again and remind people who I was and what I was doing. So this is where I really started to pitch myself as an expert. I started to talk about retail trends, consumer trends, and I started pitching myself for events at kind of industry panels, or as an expert thought leader doing solo events. This has then evolved into also pitch myself to journalists to be able to be featured in the trade press as really the go-to person for consumer and retail trends. The third thing I did that really moved the dial on my business was to invest in coaches, mentors, and group programs for community and support. What I realized was it's very lonely running your own business, and actually getting kind of the support around me really, really helped. There's so much of your business that is reflective about how you're feeling personally. So actually working through some of the challenges of how I felt and where I wanted to get to, and also those strategies to scale with coaches and mentors really, really helped. Also kind of putting myself into group programs as well. Some of them with other business leaders that weren't even in my industry. That didn't matter, because what I did find that often a lot of our challenges were quite similar, whether people were working in kind of big corporate companies or they were leading businesses of their own. Having that community, that support, that regular check-in was super beneficial. Every time I did this, it felt quite scary. It was always a financial stretch, and at periods where I felt quite uncertain about where I was going. I hadn't quite got the amount of income coming in that would cover these costs, but I took the leaps and I reaped the rewards. There was also a huge amount about the energy that and the decision that I then put into investing in myself, that all of a sudden kind of business started to shift already, even before I'd started working with these coaches and mentors, which was a very interesting observation I found. The fourth point was dedicating time and energy to my mindset and also to how I feel on a daily basis, to my energetics, to my levels of energy and passion I'm feeling. If I feel in a slump, this directly impacts my business. So the value of this is hugely important. And over the last few years, I've dedicated more and more time to this each day, each week, each month. Because if you believe you can, you can. And if you believe you can't, honestly, you really, really can't. So the work I've done on being in alignment with where I want to go, as well as taking action on the right strategies to keep me focused, and rather than trying to do everything and spread myself too thinly has been really, really powerful. But that is taking a lot of time to set aside to focusing on those strategies. And then the fifth thing is I've evolved my positioning, my services, and the content that I put out over the years, based on more I've learned about my clients, how I can better serve them, and also what I love, what lights me up. How can I do what I love? Because ultimately, the more passionate I am about the way I'm working and what I'm doing, the more I can help my clients. It's okay to evolve your positioning, to evolve your tagline, to evolve your bio, to evolve what you're doing. And actually, the more you talk about it, the more clear you become on what your mission and your purpose is. So for me, it's really about working with business leaders. They are the people behind the services and the products in the retail industry. So whether this is as investors that want to help navigate what they should be investing in, to brand founders that are trying to scale, to corporate brands that want to navigate how quickly the retail industry is moving, or service providers. All of that has a person behind it. And I'm passionate about people and how these people can create an amazing product or experience within the retail industry. So this has evolved, so do not be scared to evolve your positioning, and it should evolve because the world's evolving and consumers are evolving as well. So this is my biggest piece of advice to you. So those are the 5 things that I've worked on in my business over the years. Firstly, building a brand. Secondly, increasing my visibility and positioning myself as an expert. Investing in myself, in coaches and mentors and group programs to help me along the way, give me accountability, support and advice. Taking time out and dedicating time and energy to my mindset, my strategies and my energetics. And then finally, evolving my positioning, my services and my content, the more I've learned about my clients and what makes me perform at my best. Your business success, whether you're leading a business or you're working within a big corporate, is a reflection of your inner world. I cannot stress this enough. It's about how confident you feel, and this oozes into every high and low. I look back on my career and I see patterns now. It can be hard to see our own blocks, but the more we learn about ourselves, the more we can manage the outcome. Do tell me in the comments what you've learned over the years in your career and in growing your business and in leading teams. I would love to know what your top tips are.